part of our last one.
Yeah.
And you came on, you went, do you think that 3 minutes late is like
I did.
late? I do. And then we're 6 minutes late this time.
I've used this, I have had this beach wave bedhead thing, like this curling iron forever. And I'm not very good at it, to be totally honest. So I was trying to fix it last minute.
And
look at that.
If I had known this a little better about how to do this, I would have just hit live.
No, it's totally cool.
No, but I need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's just one button, right?
That's not bad now. Okay.
No, you're good.
So anyways, for a while it was like bending straight down in half, and I was like, oh no.
My suggestion all the time for Mandy is to wear a baseball cap, because then
I could wear a baseball cap.
She, I'm a sure thing, but if she,
hey Paula,
if she,
you know what I need?
What?
I need that blanket over there with the K and my iPad. You want me to get it?
I'll get it.
Okay. You get nervous when it's like,
well,
I just can't see right now. What is up, you guys? I'm trying to make sure that I can. Yes. Live chat. Okay. It's all, hey Donna, it's all like, we did this time and I was like, okay, we've got it. And then I never leave enough time to do what I need to do. And you'll see in the members vlog later that we were pulling apart different things with crowbars today. Hey, good news. Hey, Loretta, it's good to see you. So those display tables that I bought cheap from Hobby Lobby, that they were selling for $10 a piece, and then they cut me a deal and it was $5 a piece. Well, I have taken the panels off, and the insides are really actually salvageable. So there you go.
Hey, it just said ATX Tomahawk are live.
Oh, cool. I thought you were going to tell me it was like half dead. I was like, no. So anyway, you guys will see that. And we had lots of footage of different things or whatever. Okay. So I know people are still coming in, but I'm going to start this now because this is like the main, people might not want to talk about it, or they might want to skip over it. Did you take a look at the post that we posted at the beginning here? Oh, there we go. Hey, Stitching. Yep, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Let me see, make sure I said hi to everybody. So we, as a matter of fact, Spirit Finder can't stand us. She even left some comments recently about, different things.
We're not here nor there about that, though.
Yeah, that's not the point. It's her name is Tammy. It's Spirit Finder. She beefs with everyone. She's a fairly disgusting person. She goes real life. She calls people. That's not the
link's
point.
At the very top.
Yeah. The person who made that phone call, we've talked about before, his name is Angelo. And I cannot believe that he would call a female and say those things.
My take's a little bit different because, I know that other side of the guy. When I was friends with him, he would do stuff and say stuff and this and that. But a lot of people he just kind of presents as trying to be love and peace. He has some, does he have some like frivolous lawsuit against like Bombshell or something like that?
I think so.
Whatever it is, we stay out of that. But the point, everybody has people that don't like somebody. Like there's a group of people out there that can't stand me. People that don't like Mandy, and then people that don't like us together. Some people that might like me and might not like her, whatever. Everybody's got a group of people that don't like them, and it's got their, saying, I think something different about that person. He's no different.
Yeah.
But you also have people that don't like somebody or think something about somebody. They have to find somebody that's like, well, presented on a live stream or in a video or something like that. Everybody, like if I can't stand ATX, but you don't like her and you have a channel that talks about it. So there's people out there that don't like Angelo, but they know that I will put it on blast. They know that. They're like, yeah, give it to. So this fell into our lap. That's why this phone message kind of
it was posted.
It was posted, but then people were like, go look.
So yeah, Stitching said by the words, the tone of his voice, he meant that. That's the point. And we have said before that Sean has heard him when they were still friends speak to his wife just like that.
It was he wasn't as cold and cruel, and like it wasn't as like serial killer sounding like as that. He just yelled at her. He just said, "Shut the f up! I can't hear anything." And so and the reason I bring that up is because he will occasionally. It hasn't been in a while, but he said, I have proof of whatever. I have proof of Sean this, and goes after my service, say I didn't do the things I did, which was always very weird to me because whether you like somebody or you don't like somebody, when you're both been in the service, you both have service, you don't go after the other person's service. That's just really ridiculous. That was the very first red flag that he's kind of a fake dude. But I knew he had a temper, and I knew that he likes to talk directly to whoever he's going after. This was a voicemail.
You're talking directly to like to call or to just put a
I mean, some people can frickin' do a vlog or whatever and talk.
But I mean, when you say directly to her, do you mean when he makes content or when
somebody
he calls her?
that has got so much fury that they leave a voicemail, a traceable voicemail like that?
Well, he blocked his number, but it's obvious who it is.
Yeah.
Why did you block your number? And I heard.
She blocks your number because she's probably done with him.
No. He blocked his own number when he called her and said those things.
Yeah, so she couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get much more pussy than that.
Right.
Right?
If you're going to leave your... Because we've already been through, in the last week or so, a phone call that Tragic made. A non-emergency phone call that he didn't hide his name. He didn't do anything. This is now another voicemail from a male. This one happens to be directly to a female, in a very sort of predatory, very mean. It's like, dude, get the fuck over yourself. This is a drama community. It's not a stalk hunting.
And she's a nasty, disgusting person. You're not going to hear us say differently, but that's concerning. That's concerning that someone would call another female and over things that. I just think that it's chilling to hear it. And
I mean, he's got friends that don't like Tammy, and they drag her every once in a while, and they come on up. Hey, Chicklets, thank you so much.
I don't care what anyone else says. I like y'all. I like your channel and enjoy your live streams, except Sean's sports. I know. He's like, look, the Mavericks are playing today.
They're playing tonight at 8:30.
But I mean, I really though, thank you, Chicklets. And it's hilarious because that's exactly how much they.
I know.
I have. You'll see that. I'm like, you need to thank our people because that's why you have freeze-dried mealworms in plenty. When I heard it, I immediately sent it to Sean, this voicemail, and I said, "Listen to this, Gusta." I said, "This is," and then he listened to it. And he said the same thing. He goes, that's not okay. The
thing is that every so often somebody will say, what do you have against him? I said, I don't have anything against him. I didn't draw first blood here. He decided to go on a rampage a few years ago, saying that I was, the two things that always get people in trouble. Number one, going after my service. And there's not very, very many people that have ever done that. It's only been him and a couple other people. My ex-wife, maybe Mama Beth, may she rest in peace. And a couple of...
Randy said that you're lying about your disability to get disability. That's his service.
Well, I mean, Randy, you're one of the top freaking e-beggars on here. If you think there's something wrong with the 23 years that I gave to service and what my rating is because of that, call somebody. You need to get on the phone. You need to get on the horn. You wouldn't be the first person to do it,
Speaking of, because I want to make sure, I'm going to read something that I'm being better, you guys, right, about reading the messages that come with it. That Sin sent us a donation for our chickens, and this is what she said. Just a little love to show my true appreciation to both of you. I love the peaceful streams, and this may sound silly, but I feel safe with you both, and I haven't felt that way in a long time. I feel I'm not going to be crushed or thrown away, and that is something I haven't felt in years, and it gives me hope. It gives me a place, and after all these years in the DC, I feel I deserve that place. Thank you for so much. It means everything. Yep.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And
come here.
Absolutely. I said from the beginning when this happened, or right before the holidays or whenever Randy did that to Sin, that I was a little bit skeptical that it was because, Randy goes back and forth, back and forth. She has zero loyalty to others. She expects people to support her, and I always kind of knew that. But when this happened with Sin, at first I thought it was some kind of just like a setup for views, because I'm like, certainly somebody that has been so good to her.
Right. Well, you wouldn't trash someone just because
Right.
you thought that they were portraying a troll to try to get some sort of defense from you. And that would be the reason that because you tracked the string shot, you thought you did,
Right.
back to her.
Right.
You wouldn't trash a friendship. That you were waiting for a reason to do it.
And
They were waiting.
But it was really, I think that, and I'm not, here I am, I'm defending Randy here for a minute. I think that she would have kind of let it go and would possibly open up a door for Sin to stay in her community, but Wendy wouldn't allow it.
No.
Every time it came up, Wendy would just...
Well, there became a kind of a battle, because at that time Randy and Wendy wanted to be friends or to be more accommodating to Natasha Cooper. Barely know her. I've seen her channel.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about her, but there was that Sin was a hurdle. She didn't trust her, didn't like her. So then that blew apart in 4 days?
Yeah, not even a week. I think they started that shit on like maybe one Sunday.
Yeah.
And by Friday, pulling into the weekend.
Yeah.
If you didn't have any time to watch any streams during the week, like I used to be one of those people because I'd worked all week, you would have gone to work Monday morning with this in your head, and then when you sit down on Friday, it was totally different.
It was gone.
Totally different.
It was totally gone.
And yeah.
So there, and I mean, not that, we owe anybody an explanation. We had never, ever, ever gotten a donation from Sin until recently. Everything that we did. But she likes our chickens. A lot of you like our chickens, and you want them to be fat and spoiled.
Which they are.
Thank you. Yeah, it was she's a very kind person. Oh, and she was saying she won't care that I say this. She was saying, I won't finish the whole thing, but she was saying that, Randy was so bothered that I went down on you in a parking lot that she asked Sin, so you're telling me you don't have any problem with the fact that ATX performed sex acts on Sean in a parking lot? And then Sin's response was hilarious. I'm not going to tell what it was, but it was equally as like, hey, no judgment here.
She went down on Sean in a parking lot. Hold my beer. Right. One of those sort of statements.
And if I really, really cared that people knew that, I wouldn't have told. Nobody found out. We weren't being blackmailed because someone saw or something. Yeah. I just told it because I thought it was a fun story, and it made me feel like a bad girl.
I like the bad girl.
Yeah. All of you go ask your men if you were to do that.
You have to.
Most of you are like, we already did.
This was when we met. I flew into Austin, and we were like waiting for a hotel room. Or this was afterwards, right? It was all the same day, though.
We were waiting for the hotel room.
Yeah, and it was like, well.
And it was just, I mean.
But there was a lot of she and I were shit talking each other about Mandy and I about this is what we're going to do. She was like, I told you, and I was like, oh.
No, you're going to make me blush. Yeah, he did say you're amazing. Anyway.
Let me get more water. I need more water with that one.
So, but yeah, I don't think that that is a cryptic phone call. You liked eggs, scrambled, fried, over easy. Hey, there you go. We give so many away, you guys. We really don't have the chance to eat very many because there's so many people that want them. But as soon as the fence goes up in the back, anyway, you guys know that. So, but anyways, I don't care who it is. I think that, like I said, Tam Tam is a piece of work, and she's done real life shit. I don't think that any female, call and leave a message like that for her husband. Call him, right?
Crazy, dude.
And tell him about his wife. Don't call. That's just, and I don't know. I think that there's absolutely no excuse for that.
To me, it was kind of like, man. Because you know you don't
Exactly,
like
Karen.
a man doesn't talk to another man that way.
I've never seen him talk to another man that way.
Well, but
I mean, I've never seen him other than his community post when he called you a whore. He really likes that term whore.
yeah, but he said that. He said it differently though. He announced it. He wasn't like.
And when he said, he goes, and your third husband at that. Hey, don't be talking about third marriages.
That's right.
They're all good.
Anyway. Ain't nothing wrong with being.
Yeah,
a man,
we
though.
are going to we do give actually to people. So our goal is, and I've said this last time, is to charge the minimum that we need to charge to feed the chickens when we have more. So I think it's totally reasonable. $4 a dozen is reasonable for fresh eggs that continue to go out into the community.
Yeah.
As long as we have, the food that they need, and that it takes a lot of protein to keep healthy eggs and laying chickens.
What does a dozen eggs cost right now? We haven't bought them in a while. So what is a dozen eggs if you were to go buy a dozen extra large?
I mean, someone said that if you're really looking to buy feed and put it back into it, charge $5 a dozen.
Oh, and we could get that easy.
But at the farmer's
Easily.
market, they charge $5 for a half dozen.
Right.
I'm not out to do that.
No. They're almost
Hey,
$1
Missy,
each.
it's good to see you.
I mean, and first of all, it's like it's quality because here we are, we're hyping up our eggs, But if you have never had a fresh egg like that was laid in the last 2 or 3 days, there's absolutely nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. People are like, yeah, great. People are like, yeah, right. But then I don't know a single person that we've given eggs to that has not come back and went, those were amazing. Those were amazing. Nobody's is going to go,
When Sean used to say
story.
that, I would say he was full of shit
Right.
when he used to say that. And I'll be dang if he's not right. And you know what? The guy that we took his half dozen today to him, he said they stay with you longer. You don't get hungry as fast.
Really?
So that's what he said when you eat those.
Missy said $5 a dozen for medium-sized eggs here.
And that's in the store, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
See,
if we were getting
Amazon delivered grandson's bike. Aww.
we were getting a dozen a day. We gave a
Bye,
few of the hens
babies.
away. We were getting a dozen a day every day. So if you do that all week, so you have 7 dozen, right? We could have easily got about $6 or $7 a dozen for those, and it's like $50.
We also didn't know, and we would have never sold the hens that were laying. Not those anyway.
I didn't even sell them. I gave them away.
What did he say they were worth? $90 a piece.
He said they were worth $30 a piece.
Yeah,
The
90 for
grown
all
laying
three of them.
hens. So my 3 hens that I gave him, it's
Hey,
about
Maxine,
$100 because
Mama Ricky.
if you're getting an egg every day, and that's 3 a day, do the math. 21 eggs a week, 20 eggs a week. How many eggs till you get to 100? I mean, $100. It pays for itself in like 3 months.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. They're more nutritious. Exactly. So, and Maxine, in the UK, I lived there. I think most people know that for 3 years. When I was very, very young, I was married, but I was very, very young. They don't put them in the refrigerator.
Right.
So we would be shopping at the market like the first time, and I'm like, well, I guess they haven't put them away yet. And I saw people picking them up or whatever, and I touched them, and the cartons weren't even cold. And I
Right.
was like, oh, everybody's going to get sick. And they were like, you're obviously an American.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
like, well, why, yes.
Well,
What was
yes,
your
I
first
am.
clue? So anyway, it's good to see you, Mama Ricky. So that's that's our goal. Like
Yeah.
you said.
And Fall Guy, I'm keeping up with Fall Guy, and we're talking, and then Fall Guy's kind of what's the word, expanding on what we're saying about. And the comment was,
Fall Guy, are
if you
you
haven't
trolling?
eaten in 3 days, an egg is a blessing beyond words, and that's so true. You don't care where that egg is coming from.
Fall Guy's new. I'm glad you found us.
Mhm.
That's very cool. You've been here since May 4th. Welcome. Did you just find YouTube and we came up recommended, or how did that work? No, for real. If you are
I say it
truly
all the
hungry, find us some resources in your area. I don't know what state you're in. If you're in Glenda Soley State,
but
she knows where they all are.
I don't think that they're saying that. They're just saying.
I'm not being
But
silly.
yeah, if you want now, Glenda Sully will tell you everything.
She'll tell you about touring the food pantries and making it cobblers just to piss people off.
Here's the thing about Glenda and her.
Hey,
but
Kimberly.
her supporters
Presley.
are onto her though. Like she'll talk about her. She's got like a 1990 something Toyota that's got 250,000 miles or
I
something
think
like
it's
that.
like a 97, she
and
said.
I know that they exist because I have a coworker who's got a Toyota
Aw.
truck that's got 400 and some thousand miles on
And
it.
he keeps fixing
And
it.
he keeps fixing it instead of buying it.
He's got
But
grass growing in the back of it.
Glenda was telling us about, like, when you have cars that are that old, there's one little bolt
Aw, sorry
that
to
drops the bolt down, and you can change your own oil up until about 15 years ago.
Now it takes
There used to be one bolt.
special tool, right?
Yeah, well, each like my Ford Ranger, when we first got the Ranger, the first time bought it brand new. So when I took it for its first oil change, I took it to a place, and he was like, "Oh, I have to order the tool. I haven't done a car that new yet, and it's a separate tool." But what Glenda's fans did, her supporters, and she's grifting, trying to say it costs this much for my oil change and this much for this much for that. Somebody sent her 10 quarts
Oh my God, it was
of
so
oil.
funny.
Sent her, Amazoned her 2 5-quart things of synthetic oil.
It's good. Yeah, I
That's what they
wonder
did,
if she didn't order. Sometimes people say that she orders these things and then pretends that hey, Glenda, I don't know, you're all right, you're cool. But like he was saying, 2 big jugs of oil.
I mean, Glenda's been doing this, for years and years.
Yeah.
Does she have like 70,000 subs or something
like that. Presley always shows us the colorful crease. You know what I mean? Someone says your shirt is so new it still has creases in it. Is that for real? I
mean,
think you've worn it like.
Well, this bump's for you. I've worn this one. Have I not worn this Mavericks? And they're all like mostly either Mavericks or Braves.
And I don't think it could be creased. But speaking of, have you ever been, I'm attention to detail in movies. Have you ever been watching a movie where they are showing like a scene where the sheet, like they're showing the bed, and you can still see the creases in the pillowcases where they took them out of the package, or the sheets? You guys, do you know what I'm talking about? There are like, oh, thank you. I like, let's put it, do you know what I'm talking about? Like they'll have, creases. You know what? I've showed you before.
I know, but
like
I'm
they'll
trying
show
to
a pillowcase and it'll have like.
see, that's not something that I would notice though.
Yeah, I guess
because
not.
I'm not
But
really the homemaker like
you
you
always
are.
know when Sean can tell you the lines that are going to come in every movie. Sometime I'm going to record while he does it. No. But when we watch a movie, you know what line they're going to say.
Oh, like if it's a certain situation, what they're going to say.
He can tell you exactly, and he'll never have seen the movie.
I mean, close. It might not be verbatim. Sometimes it is.
Thank you, Presley.
Hey, Presley,
I didn't
thank you.
care what anyone says. No one puts the Kirleys in the corner. I know. We're really harmless. We can be assholes, but we really are harmless. Yes, see? Okay, so Karen.
Thank you, Presley.
Karen knows what I'm talking about.
But see, that's what I'm talking about.
I
It's
love
not
the
something
colors.
that I would notice though. But
Karen
like
noticed
for
it.
instance, if you're watching a sporting event like I do, I'll start watching the Western Conference Finals. It's game 1 tonight, Dallas versus Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a series of sponsors that are throughout the playoffs. So I can almost do every commercial that comes on.
Yep. Yeah.
Like there's one, the one where I go,
he's a commercial watcher.
where I turned around right before the guy said it and I go, Mello, you give horrible advice. And then he said it on the commercial.
And you know he was going to say it?
Because they're all sports guys.
But you had seen it.
Oh, many times.
See,
many
that's
times.
what I'm talking about. Yeah, woman's hair, absolutely. Or they make the bed and the woman can tell it's a brand new bedspread and not the one they slept. Yeah, it's the sheet thing. Like if I were to ever give an aspiring, what is that, a props person, right? Props are the ones that handle that. Like any advice, I'd be like, make sure the sheets, the curtains, whatever it is, don't have the creases in it. I've seen some pretty big name movies that have the creases in the pillowcases.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like seriously a thing. Thank you. Nobody puts the curdles in the. I like that, the curlies.
But it's from what's the movie? Dirty Dancing,
Dirty
right?
Dancing.
Nobody puts.
I was not allowed to watch that, but I watched it.
That's why you're such a good girl.
I wasn't allowed to watch it, but I was like, I'm going to watch it because everybody was singing the songs and everything. And my friends, I think I was in 3rd grade, maybe something like that.
Dirty Dancing was what? Late 80s, I think.
Maybe. Yeah, that would be about right. Yeah. And everybody was talking about, all my friends were watching it, and I'm like, I'm not allowed to watch it. And then
what was the girl's name? Nobody puts who in the corner. What was the girl's name?
Looking at the decor. Baby.
Nobody puts baby
Nobody
in the
puts
corner.
baby in the corner. You need to remember that, Sean.
I know. I will.
You need to. It's very, very important.
I'll remember.
You don't really have to remember. Okay. Yeah, and when they did the move where she kind of flies into the air and he grabs her and spins her around like she's flat or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? Kids would be like trying, like with each other on the playground, like acting out the things or whatever, like they were gliding through the air and doing all that stuff or whatever.
What was the other dancing movie? Footloose. Remember that one with Kevin Bacon in it?
Yeah, Patrick Swayze, Kevin Bacon. Oh,
Footloose.
Footloose, yeah.
Footloose.
Nobody was allowed to dance in that town. Dancing was sinful. Presley says, hug Sean. We all knew Sean was a good man before and to this day. So get to the back of the bus talking about the naysayers.
Yeah. I know
cool.
that we were watching Meghan and Harry, right?
Yeah. We're not fans.
We're not done with this phone conversation, this phone message, but we'll get back to it. Did you guys at the beginning of the chat? How many of you guys went back and listened to that? We're not going to play it here.
I can't play it here. It would strike our shit.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. That's how bad the phone call is.
It's a bad.
It would at the very least age restrict our this stream, but at the very worst, we'd get struck. It's that bad. It's
and
that
you know
bad.
how I do,
Me
guys.
either.
At the end of the live stream, I will change the name. I don't even know what Mandy just calls it. ATX Tomahawk
with a couple of hearts.
I took everyone's advice from the last one and I changed it to.
Yeah, see, everyone listened to it.
We did Bills before Botox and chicken vents.
Yeah,
that
chicken
was the last
vents.
one. But so we were watching Meghan. We were watching Meghan and Harry, and they did their tour of Nigeria. And at the end, Harry said something about legal proceedings to defend his wife. You knew more about it, but.
Yeah, they did their little thing, and their visit was fairly good or whatever. But everybody said he kind of looked like he had something on his mind. She was more carefree than he was, but she had something on her mind. They did a fantastic job. We can't stand them, so don't stick with me. We're not giving them kudos. He even walked through like an old minefield that his mother had walked in, that when they had gotten photos of it and they had done different things. By all accounts, it was a halfway decent, like, non-official trip.
No drama. There was no drama. It was
at the end.
The diplomacy was a B+ until
Meghan announced that something to the degree of that she actually had won or was about to win a lawsuit where her father, she had written a heartfelt letter to her father, and her father released it to a magazine for money, and she sued, and I don't know, something that. But beyond that, Harry had a chip on his shoulder about the press and was saying that the press has been so harassing and bullying to Meghan that he is going to start being proactive in stopping it, because they did the same thing to his mother, and he wasn't going to let the press keep, harassing his wife. Harry, nobody's chasing your wife. Nobody cares.
But when you see him saying it, it was out of the blue. It was out of left field. Like Meghan had said, hey, dude.
You better be
now
telling
you're going to say this. And Harry's like, hey, it's a pretty good, say it. I sat right there. I mean, I felt that. I felt the whole narcissistic partner saying, you better stand up for me right now. It's like, but there's no reason. There's no shit going on right now.
Like Will Smith had to.
Right, yeah, like Will Smith had to do.
He's like, did you hear?
There's really nothing. But Will Smith, Chris Rock did say something about his wife. In this situation, nobody was saying anything to Meghan. They were
I think they didn't. Will Smith kind of chuckled and then looked over at her, and she was like, and he was like, well, I guess I'll go hit him.
I guess I better go, ruin my career.
Anyway, go ahead.
And, but, when you go to an event, like Meghan and Harry did, and they desperately need, because I tell you, even in my heart, I love Harry. I always did. I'm not into the royals. I never followed the royals. I'm with a gal that has followed the royals and is into them. But I always liked Harry. I thought Harry was the most relatable of the royals. I'm a serviceman. He was a serviceman. He just seemed to be real, like a real dude. Like he wasn't afraid to kind of let his hair down around the public.
Right.
And I'd liked him for that. But recently when you see his relationship and how she's vilified, the more you watch it, the more you go, man, she has told him to walk away from everything that he is.
Right.
His family, his country, his lineage, everything, his titles,
Presley.
leave it all.
Right.
So,
and she emulated his mother.
right.
When she came into his life, she
Yep.
had studied, and they say that in their interview, he was so like his mother. He had causes like his mother. She wanted to the royal family not to affect them anymore, that they were going to go out on their own just like his mother would have wanted. Anyway, go ahead.
And so when they went to Nigeria, like didn't they have to hire press to come with them or something like that? I mean, it wasn't like the paparazzi was with.
No, nobody.
Or the people that are taking pictures of them are like TMZ type of people. They're not the
right.
They're not the
right, Judy.
They're for the gossip magazine.
Yeah,
that's who's following them. So they go and they do this for what? I don't know. But in the whole time, Meghan is talking about that she found out through DNA that she's from Nigeria.
43% Nigerian.
Yeah, 43% Nigerian, and that all of a sudden all of Nigeria was her people.
She started,
and that. But that kind of went away pretty quickly. That was a very Meghan thing to say. But then at the end of it, they were wrapping it up, and it seemed to be that they were popular where they were. They seemed to have some popularity, and they were getting.
They would like to.
It's like, all right, start there. She just threw a grenade in the whole thing by having Harry say that at the end. Like, these people didn't know what the hell they were even talking about.
No. And then there's a few people that I watch that one's called Megan's Mole. Do any of you watch Megan's Mole? She has grown very quickly, so quickly that she's got. I mean, the Sussexes actually try to take her shit down. Like it's like that. So there's another one. Her name is. Oh, I can't remember what her name is. It's not important. She had put some footage up from that. They were at a restaurant the other day, and Meghan got pissed off at Harry and stood up and left him at the restaurant. They had friends there. They had friends.
I feel that, guys. And I don't feel that with her.
And they got someone got footage of it. Well, they are taking it down. Anyone that puts it up, it's being taken down or whatever.
She just left him there.
Left him, got pissed off at something, stood up and walked out, and he just kept eating with his friends. And
now, she just left him at dinner. I got left at the fucking VA. Y'all remember that. But still, when your partner abandons you like that, and he's on a much more public stage than any of us are, I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they do take it down. They call them the Sussex Squad, and I guess there's a group of people that are fiercely defensive of them and go through to different platforms and strike stuff and take it down. And we're gazing at Sawyer Brown. Do you see how he's looking at you, gazing at you? He loves you.
Yeah, but he also does. He's not sure who we're talking about.
Right.
Like if we're arguing or whatever.
He's so cute.
He's right here. He's our Sawyer Brown.
He
wasn't feeling very good.
He's gazing at Sean, and just while Sean talks, it's so cute. Anyways, so.
And the thing is she gets up. I remember, being around somebody that would treat me like complete garbage, unless I was saying, acting, doing everything to put them on a pedestal. I mean, Mandy could be maybe put off by something that I would say or do, perhaps when we're together. You will never know it. She will be right there doting on me, and we get in the car to leave. She may say, well, let's talk about that. But 9 times out of 10, it happens. She gets over it before it's ever anything's ever said.
And it's also because I know if you say something that's off-putting, you don't mean it to be.
Right.
Now, there's a few times he says something that he doesn't mean to, sound how, and whatever reason, but they're my issues. I take it internally and take offense to it. And he didn't even mean anything by it. But, when you've got different shit that's gone on in your life. You ladies know. It's like there's a few things that they can say that they don't mean it to sound a certain way, but it just hits that spot where you're like 0 to 100. Oh, look, there's a Sawyer Brown. Sawyer, you have an emoji. Yeah, she destroyed Harry. And this is the thing that Sean always said about when he was with the Beast and what he says about Harry. When people would say, well, you'd have to go because, I mean, think about it. This community, when he's like, all I'd have to do is dump her.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
I divorce her.
There's a couple people.
And it's true for him.
Angelo was actually one of those people that when I was friends with him, he was like, it's just a shame that,
I love that.
You'll never get, a fair shake in the YouTube world because you're with her. And first of all, the YouTube world will never be that important, that important. But the thing, and I said at that time, I said, the only thing that I have to do is leave her. That's it. And This is the same for Harry.
Yeah.
If Harry, think about like right now, if we turn on the news when we get done with the live stream, and it would be breaking news.
Yeah.
It would be breaking news. Harry leaves Meghan, or, you know, even if it was the other way around and it said Meghan files for divorce from Harry, Harry could just pick up your freaking overnight bag, stuff it all into your Ford Mustang or whatever it is that you're driving,
and maybe
and
just
drive off.
maybe like, Harry, you don't know, somebody might go, hey Harry, what would you do if I was in that car?
Yeah.
And Harry will be like,
what is
right on.
Harry's just sitting there and you know, Meghan's putting him through it, you know, makes him leave. He goes somewhere and he's sitting in his car and outside the mall, and some social media person just starts texting him that he happens to be friends with.
Then Meghan and Amber Heard can probably go party together because they are the most maligned narcissists in the entire world. You know what I mean?
That's another one that I think that it was a little bit different with Amber Heard. Like, she might have had that reputation within Hollywood or wherever, but I remember when that first broke, and you know,
everybody thought he did. I
was disappointed that I had been such a big Johnny Depp fan, and I was just wishing it to not be true. Well, it turns out that it wasn't true. That whole court thing.
But she said that, she goes, one day he ripped the cabinets off the wall, which, you know, surprise, surprise. And he was like, she was across the house and they're my fucking cabinets.
That's right.
He's like, they're my cabinets. Yeah. She was nowhere near them. If I want to rip my own, well, it scared her. Well, whatever. But do you think that, let me see, I'm trying to, Mama said when we were talking about
Look at him, he's crawling up here.
Will Smith, he's like, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Isn't that what he said when he went up there?
Yeah,
he got fined for the cursing. Look, this is Sawyer Brown. This is Sawyer. Say hi, everybody.
He wasn't feeling so good earlier in the week.
He's gotten a lot better, though. He's a ragamuffin.
You good boy. You good boy. You can sit here.
Yeah, if J-Lo and Ben Affleck finally got married, okay? What, about a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that? First of all, J-Lo must be a piece of work because nobody can make it work with her. Same with Sandra Bullock. There's a few people that you're like, they must be something else.
Well, I knew J-Lo when she was...
Hey ho. Yeah. That's his favorite joke. Hey, Sean. So Ben Affleck, they're supposedly on the rocks, which, you know...
Ben Affleck and J-Lo are?
Yeah, and...
how many times...
but they've been off and on for years and years and years.
Well, so Ben Affleck's been with J-Lo, Jennifer Garner. Who else? Anybody else?
Not that I can remember. I think there's a newly... Maddie's couple, you and Sean are way more in tune with each other than many other older married couples. Oh, thank you. By the way, what can I replace for an Allen wrench? That is a good question. I have never successfully found anything. If you don't have an Allen wrench and you need one, you're kind of screwed. Unless
the Allen wrench, like the star wrench things?
No, an Allen wrench is that L one that does. It's got like for squares and different, or it's a hectagon.
You can like go around the corner with it.
Yeah, most furniture is put together with.
Yeah, they're
unless you have
a star wrench, like a star thing. Yeah.
No, not like it. It's
like when you buy an Allen wrench, you can buy a whole keychain full of them, different sizes.
And they're like an L.
Gotcha.
Unless you have like a small set of screwdrivers that for like, you know, sometimes there's mini sets that people can use for electronics, then and it's frustrating when you can't find an Allen wrench and you need one.
Yep.
It's very frustrating. Oh no! You can get them anywhere. If you even have like look, I bet you've got one somewhere. Look through your junk drawers, look through the toolbox. I bet you've got one somewhere. An IKEA wrench. Yes.
And a lot of times
that one will work. You're right. That's what it is.
That's right. Stress mommy.
He looks miserable. Harry looks miserable.
He does look miserable. I mean,
or Ben Affleck. Tell us which one, Kimberly. Anyway.
I mean, when it comes to like looking at narcissistic behavior, Mandy will tell you. I mean, she might be listening to some couple on YouTube, and I'll just go, have you seen this? And I was like,
when we first got together, and I believe he was already married to her at that time. I don't know if they had any kids, but I think they had just gotten married. And I was watching a show that had the engagement interview of Diana and Charles and Kate and William and Harry and Meghan. And at that point, she wasn't quite as ostracized as she is now. But he watched it and he
Right
watched
from
the
the
mannerism
beginning.
and he goes, she looks like a narcissist. Look how when he has to
Yep.
say anything, he has to glance over.
This was back when we were living in Texas. So this
okay.
was 2019. So this was 5 years ago. HG
Yes,
Tudor did a whole series on her about 3 or 4 months later about her being a narcissist.
Yeah.
And I was like, yay. Y'all remember HG Tudor? Diane used to have him on panel.
When they tried to like ask her questions and he was talking about when they were staying with a friend and he wasn't going to name who the friend was and she was like, I think we don't need to breach their privacy. And he went, oh no, I wasn't. And it was like, there was a few telltale things.
And you could tell during that interview that interviewer was like, look, Miss Markle, he's the fucking royal, okay? He's the guy. And we're not, he needs to be as interesting in this conversation as you. But I watched his body language. He was not allowed to say anything. If it wasn't scripted, he wasn't supposed to say it. If it was something that came out of the blue, that maybe something that led to their personal life or maybe something that was unsavory that had happened in the past, because everybody knows his life. They didn't know her life. They knew his life.
We would joke that when she was trying to get him to pull away from the family, she was like, they're just awful, Harry, they're awful. And he's like, okay, and we don't need them. And he was like, we kind of do.
We kind of do.
Oh, so you're going to choose your family over me?
I'm a prince.
I don't know if you got the memo, but I'm a prince.
I'm kind of a big deal.
We're moving to the United States, and if you don't like that, if you can't stand up for me and you can't be with me, then, and he was like, but I mean,
it just goes to show that it doesn't matter where you're from, or
you can be susceptible
to it. And I do think that there's an empathic part of people or a super sensitive part, that like an empathic or a very sensitive person. Like I'm super sensitive. Some people say that I'm empathic.
I think that you are.
But I'm super sensitive, are very susceptible to the hoovering and the love bombing of a narcissist.
Yeah.
Even because when you see the stuff that is hideous about them, you want to fix it.
Yeah.
You want to love it away. You want to just show. So my heart's big enough that, and there's certain people that don't live and love that way, but empathic people do.
Yeah.
And they, it takes a ton of getting, your freaking self-esteem stomped on before you walk away from it. Because somebody that has empathy for things, or is an empathic person, they put that in front of their feelings and their self-esteem and this and that, and their egos and things like that. So I saw that right away, and that was right the very first time I'd ever seen Meghan Markle. You didn't have an opinion here nor there about her at first.
Yeah, it was. When did they get engaged?
It was 2019, I thought. Or they were already married then.
Someone will know. I think they had just gotten married, if I'm not mistaken. When she someone will know. Let me search real quick. No, not 2022. Oh, they set that. Someone tell me, because can't find it on the. Someone will know. I can't believe I don't know off the top of my head.
Sean, the Fall Guy says, "Do you see your own narcissist?" Yeah, I don't watch her anymore. But
well, but I mean, does he mean like is he like saying that your own narcissist, meaning he's trying to insinuate?
Everybody has a little bit of that. Like so, I've talked about this before. So if you put the pendulum right in the middle, with this all the way over here being pathological narcissism, and on the other all the way to the other side that's extreme and total altruism and sainthood. And so we're here, and I think our actions they go back and forth. We're altruistic, and then we're a little self-centered and narcissist the other way. But I think when you're diagnosed one way, it can just go so far over there. And I don't believe that narcissists are born. I think that they're made. I think you have people that have certain, like say a borderline or something. I think that something happened in their lives, but they were susceptible to that. I don't think someone's born narcissist. I think that they're made through whatever. I'm
saying both of you are a narcissist. Well, that's an opinion. I think that but a lot of people think that a narcissism is just that they love the way they look. Like if you look in the mirror all the time, but really they don't love how they look.
No,
they don't love anything about
a narcissist is someone that cannot be. They have such a hole that it can't be filled.
Right. You are. It is an overused word. It is like that. That's what people call everybody, like gaslighting. Nobody knows what it means, but everybody accuses everybody else of being gaslighting.
I think that, but like as far as like YouTube goes, everybody that takes a channel and steps up and does this in a drama community does some form of gaslighting. Yeah, we all do.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I think that when you are going after somebody that doesn't have a platform, that's the thing that makes me, want to stand up for people.
Fall Guy didn't like that we didn't give him. They had to get progressively worse because when they started with the food thing, they didn't get much of a reaction. Right. So then they're like, "Well, I'm going to have to put in all of my chips and just say something shitty."
We said at the very beginning of the live stream, Fall Guy, that you had just made your account a couple weeks ago.
They were like, they couldn't get a reaction, so they're like, "Well, I'm just gonna say something shitty now. I'm gonna throw it away.
I can't get them to get mad at me, so I'm just gonna.
just gonna say something overtly shitty. Yeah. Anyways,
so Fall Guy, you lose, brother.
I was like, okay, well, we're both. No, I'm just saying you're both full of shit. Both me and him, or both he and her, or all three of them,
or Megan and Harry.
I think that the whole drama community is full of shit.
Yeah.
All of us collectively are full of shit.
But we can say it just like this. This is the end of the attention. At the very beginning of this live stream, y'all, we said that that Fall Guy person, at some point between now, I thought that he would last longer than that, though.
Yeah.
If you don't give a person the attention that they want, and you don't let yourself be trolled, then they will. Did you guys didn't even see what they posted because it was held for review? They got increasingly a little bit more aggressive. We knew it was coming.
Maybe he meant the whole. I don't know what. When someone comes in and they start saying whatever. The problem is when you put all your chips in and say something shitty, that troll is gone.
It's gone
because they're hidden. So you're gonna have to go to someone else or not use it. Probably won't remember the password. It'll show up on your accounts and you'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot I have that one. You know what I mean?
The very first thing that people do, content creators that aren't easily trolled, maybe Yaba could take or Owl could take a little hint here because they get spun up way too easy, is you can look and see when the account was made. And if it was made at 3:00 and it's 5 and they come in overly, kind of more than just a little bit aggressive, chances are that if you just ignore them, they'll get more and more aggressive until you just say, aha, there you are.
Yeah.
But
you know what's really cool? Speaking of, and I don't think she would mind if I say that, I'm always straightening my hair or curling it like I did today right before we come on. So my ears are red. And sometimes I mess with them because they are red. And Sin said, she was like, I don't want, to offend you or whatever, but I noticed your ears were red and that's a symptom you can, you should check, I was like, wow, that's kind of cool that
really?
Someone would notice it and be concerned. Yeah.
I don't really think that, that is cool. I have seen.
She's a kind person. Karen and we have a lot of people like that.
I have seen.
She said it very
You go back
sweetly.
in one of our older live streams, I'll look at it and we'll be like super pale in the live stream, like during COVID. And it's like, wow, how come nobody told us that?
Well, and also if they don't have your color foundation and you got to buy a different one, not that you wear foundation, it can change the whole color of your face.
Yeah, I just looking at it, and it was about 4 years ago.
See?
And it was a fairly popular live stream that we did, and
people said they've noticed it too.
I don't know why we didn't do anything about it, and we looked like we were like very pale looking. I'll have to show it to you, but it was in Texas, and it might have been like our top 10 in views. So it was one of those that had 3,000 or 4,000 views, Yeah,
at the time I didn't really know what was. But
it was one of our live streams that,
my baby.
We probably have 5 live streams through the years that we go over like 3 hours or something, maybe that we because we were in Texas, we had 2 or 3 during COVID in the middle of the night where we would go 3 or 4 hours because everybody was sitting at home.
Yeah,
during
that was
COVID.
at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Maybe we should do. Oh, anyway, go ahead. Tiny's mad.
He's mad at somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, Kimberly noticed it too. Yeah, I really, next time I'm going to not straighten or curl my hair before we come on and see if it still does it. Because I don't think I get nervous or anything about going live, but if it continues to happen. But it's apparently it can be a sign of lupus or some other diseases. Yeah, but I mean, have you ever noticed them being red other than when we go live?
No, but I'm looking at your eyes right now, and you have the veins are in them. So
yeah, I'm starting to chew ice again. But
yeah.
I thought that was cool. So if you are watching, Sin, thank you for that.
Yes.
That is much like, and I did when it's Stitching said if Diana was alive, she would stomp her foot at Harry. It was still important. They were royalty and had responsibility, 100%. And Diana told those 2 boys that they were never, ever to betray each other. That they were to remain solid. They were not to...
No matter what happens.
No matter what happens, that they were to remain solid. And I have to say, I really firmly believe the reason that there is an estrangement has nothing to do with William. William is adhering to his responsibilities that he's taken as a working royal, and he's not going to acquiesce to a petulant child like Harry. And he can't stand his wife.
But I think that the petulance that he's getting from his younger brother is because it's the reaction, it's the wanting to appease this narcissist, though.
Yeah,
I think
no, absolutely, 100%. How many of you have read Spare? My mother bought it. Oh, I left it in Texas. She was gonna let me use it. I refused to buy it, but she had it, so I was like, well, I'll read it if she has it. At one point, I guess Harry said something shitty about Kate, and freaking William decked him, and he fell into the dog's water bowl or something, and sent him someone will know what I'm talking about. He broke the bowl or whatever, and I guess Charles was in the room too.
Didn't they say something about didn't he say something about Megan, so he said something back about Kate, and that's what happened.
Something like that. But yeah, he called her a charlatan or something. Then he said, well, your wife's whatever, and William laid him out. And, Donna says, I do have anemia. I take vitamins, but the iron is not absorbed. That's the problem, with me specifically. So they do iron infusions or blood transfusions or whatever they deem necessary.
Like you said, have a taste of leather and took a glove and went.
But Charles, he goes my dad just stood there and watched. I bet he did.
Yep.
Anyway.
Remember when I fought with my brother, my dad would sit there. He'd just go outside. Just go outside. Because we'd be wrestling around, knocking pictures off the wall and stuff. And it'd be...
I also think that there's a strategic time in mainly adolescent boys' life where all of them at one point or another decide, I'm going to mouth off a little bit to my dad. I'm going to see how that goes. It's like a testosterone, like a roosters fighting thing. I'm going to push it. And then, hey, Ricky Bobby, after a while, I think that every dad just needs to lay him out. And then usually that ends that.
You're chewing ice now.
But that was only one piece.
I can go get more water, though.
No. Unless you want more water. If you want more water.
I just worried about you.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out, Donna, because I would love to get in. Yeah, when I was in the hospital last time with the severe anemia, and I had the blood transfusion and the whatever. Hey, mental midget, it's good to see you. The doctor, he was fairly young, not super young. My mom always says that doctors nowadays are all 12 years old, but he was young. And he said he can't stand bariatric surgery. He said he wouldn't recommend it, that the complications are far worse than the obesity. And that's what he said. I thought I could fight my dad once, 15, 16, never tried it again. That's what I'm saying. It's for a while I got so, my son was getting so mouthy. This is why when Sean said that his dad would send him outside. And I finally was like, okay, the 2 of you go outside. And I'm not talking about brothers. I'm saying freaking, you know, my son or whatever, and he tried to buck up, and then and my ex was no toughie, trust me, but it takes one time, and then it's like Tiny slapping down Rufus. It's like that's all it takes. You know what I mean? So but I don't know, Sean, you never got testy with your dad, right? You did mouth off one time. He drinks this whole jug of water. Like, you look like one of those people in the gym commercials where they drink a whole gallon of water.
In the gym?
Yeah, no, like the commercials that you see on TV, and they've got like drinking a whole huge thing of water. Yes, get your blood work done if you have had surgery or if you are prone to anemia at all. If I swear I yelled at my mom, my dad was on our ass many times. I couldn't sit down. That is the other thing that will get your ass kicked by a dad, is if you disrespect your mother.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
My mother, and I was probably 15 or so. I said something, and it was smart.
Come here, boo-boo.
Because you know when you're a 15 or 16-year-old dude, you just your brain doesn't work like it should. You know, so you just say stuff. You say stuff like teenager stuff, and sometimes it's disrespectful. And I said something that was disrespectful to my mother, and she reared back to smack me in the face, and I grabbed her wrist.
Yeah.
And I grabbed my mother's wrist, and then the next thing I know, I'm being drug across mashed potatoes, across, you know, and that was the end of that.
But your mom wasn't like that, so that surprises me.
No.
You must have. Karen says I mouthed off once to my mom in 7th grade, and she slapped my face off. Never did it again. I don't. Okay, so B12. You don't. Okay. You just give the look, and I remember one time we were visiting home. I think my ex was in Iraq, and there was a pile of carpet. My mom was enclosing the garage, and they were pulling carpet up to put floor down, and my son was getting up on it. He was 5 or 6 or something, and he was climbing on it. It was dangerous, and it was concrete because it hadn't been done yet. And so I was like, "Get down," and he goes, "Make me." I was up out of that chair so fast. But what people don't realize is parents normally don't even know what their plan is. You know what I mean? So a kid thinks they've already plotted it out. They're going to end up, a strange smell under the house. And the secret is most parents don't quite know what they're going to do. They just have a plan. And I didn't even spank him or anything. It was enough when I was like jumped up and whatever. And he was like, you could tell when he said it, he was like.
But you don't know what you're going to do.
You don't.
You don't know what you're going to do. Especially if you're a dad and you have 3 daughters.
Right. That's true. That's a whole different can, because you're like, you can't discipline the same way.
I saw a video, and it's, there's all these police watch videos where, the body cams and this and that.
Yeah.
And it was 2 parts. It showed somebody videotaping a road rage incident, and the girl was 18 or 19, and she got out into the car that was behind him, and it was about a 60-something-year-old lady, right? And she ended up like slapping the 62-year-old lady a couple of times. I don't even think the lady got out of her car. And some people would say, if you're going to fight, it doesn't matter what your age is. But that video was shown, and then the next part of the video was the officer's body cam, and they go and they arrest the 19-year-old at her house.
Really?
She was still living with her parents and her grandparents. Her grandfather was out there with the barbecue grill going. He just sat there like, God damn it.
Wow.
And they arrested her, and she was trying to.
Yeah, you can't be slapping elderly people. I don't care what.
What I was getting at is sometimes when we jump up, you got to think about what you're doing, especially if it's in public, because if you backhand somebody and they have not shown any aggression towards you, and then you leave, and someone's taped it or videoed it, that's it.
Yeah, especially if it's an elderly person. Yeah. That's never good.
Well, elderly, when I say elderly, it was 60.
You had an iron infusion today. Okay. I bet, do you immediately feel better? Do you chew ice when you're anemic? Or what is your telltale sign that you need an iron infusion?
Hey, just being me.
There was one other thing. My husband got the shoe. My husband got the spoon. I got the shoe. Do that now, and CPS is 100%. I don't even think it's legal to spank your kids anymore in most states.
But it's
crave ice.
It's also different parts of the country, though, too.
That will bring. I agree. I'm an ice eater when I'm anemic. We're having 3 different.
I see that.
We're juggling 3 different conversations. The biggest thing that used to happen with my mother is that when your window's open in your bedroom, like you've got it open and there's a screen or whatever. and you go to shut the door and it slams because the window is open. So my mom and I might have words. My mom and I, for as close as we are, we had words quite a bit. And I would go and shut the door and it would slam and she'd be like, "Did you slam that door? I will take it off the hinges. Did you? No, the window's open." You know what I mean? Wendy, the cop said, she saw it. I saw that when her dad said, "Are y'all gonna bail her out?" He said, "Leave her there." I would too.
It's the same one because the dad I thought it was the grandfather, and they were sitting in the carport. Like the cops come walking up, and there was like an older man sitting down, and there was like an older lady, and it could have been their parents, but they were easily in their 60s or 70s.
Oh,
these
wow.
people, and yeah. So it looked like that she might have been.
I'm trying to chew it off camera. Sorry, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's rude.
See, now I'm all worried because the last time she was chewing ice, it was.
But I do need to get the blood work done.
So Mandy will say, "I like the half sweet, half unsweet tea from McDonald's," and I think we talked about it. But it's because it's very specific fast food ice that she was craving.
Yeah, it's not just any, and this is only working because it's just starting. You know,
I'm like, I mean? Well, we'll just go to Taco Bell. No, that's not the ice.
And everybody always goes, "You love Sonic Ice?" No, Sonic Ice is not. Yeah, that's crazy not what I want. Not Sonic Ice.
It was like I was thinking about for like Mother's Day or something, just get her like the same ice machine Aubrey. That McDonald's uses or something, and just. But it's not a good thing when she starts chewing the ice. So.
Yeah, but they monitor it. What happened last time was it went from borderline to extreme in about 5 months or something like that.
You're right, Missy. Like in Dawsonville, if we're sitting around at the post office in downtown Dawsonville, which is not rural anymore, but it's not urban, you've got a pretty conservative bunch, the older generation that if a mom or dad whooped their kid for stepping on a line, they would probably be against CPS getting involved.
Yeah.
But if you go to a different, like, say, Rhode Island, where I spent a lot of time in Rhode Island, it's very liberal. Matter of fact, it's not. But anyway, that's when the rules and regulations and how it would have to be handled are very different.
Right. I don't even know anymore, like, what the actual, like, by the law, what it is. I think that there's a pretty stringent guidelines, like, of how corporal punishment is carried out. My experience was it wasn't very effective, maybe because, as we get mellow, as we get older, and the spankings we got as kids were probably not the same ones we're doling out.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I was like, you're like, don't hit your sister, so you spank your kid. And you're like, well, that makes a lot of fucking sense.
I just think it's we never figured out, and it's hard to, like, mentally determine in society where punishment, disciplining your child and abusing your child, and where's the line?
Right.
Because for hundreds of years, parents were whooping the shit out of their kids for whatever, to keep them in line, and it's just now, you can't.
Yeah. And it's hard. I guess people, feel a responsibility for the kind of, the people that their children turn out to be. But I just was not very good at it. Like, I guess most of the time the kids just stared at me, and I didn't do it very often, but it didn't do it. They just were kind of like stared at me like, that's it. And I was like, well, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? You're right. It says, I think no marks after 2 hours. That is what I think I learned. I took a daycare class one time, and you have to take it. And I think that's what they said too. And you can't use anything. It can only be your hand or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teachers did used to. You go to the principal, and then you're going to get swats from the principal.
I had a teacher, and it would have to have been 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
7th grade.
Right.
Yeah. 6th or 7th, either 6th or 7th. It was middle school.
Ricky Bobby had to go to the hospital for stitches because I slipped. Ironically, I did slip twice and split my chin open. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he had a little leather strap that was about 18 inches long and like about a 1/4 inch thick, and you have to put your hand out and he would slap it. And it was in North Carolina. Yeah, this was like 1980.
Wow.
81,
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. My kids started the whole just say no movement, and the school taught him they had rights. My kids came home trying every disrespectful thing. I have a relative who is a school teacher, and the whole I'm going to call your dad, I'm going to call your mom thing does not work anymore. They are not scared of having their parents contacted. Most of the time, their parents are going to side with the child and come down on the school for not being accommodating or whatever. Let me tell you something. I didn't get in trouble, but if they said they were going to call my mom, not my dad, he was soft. But if they said they were going to call my mom, that's all it took. I was like, no.
I didn't want my parents knowing a lot of the things that I did. And the school getting in touch with my parents would have put the fear in me.
Yeah. I have to laugh. I would try to spank my boys when they were little and they'd pretend to cry and walk away giggling. Same. That's I'm like, I'm not doing it right. They're kind of chuckling at me or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things have completely changed. UK schools did the hard punishment. Back in my day, my mother had only to give us that look. Yeah, the look is, my mom definitely had the look.
I can see that.
Yeah, my mom
can see that.
Definitely had the look.
Yep.
And that would be, I probably had the look too, but I think it transcends.
Yeah, you definitely can have
I was gonna say it's probably not just with children. I think most women have the look that they give their kids, but it is multifaceted because they can give the same look to their spouse.
There's a pissed off look that I'm pissed and I know what you did, and there's a curious glare. There's a curious glare, like it better not be what I think, or you better tell me or something. There's different looks.
I only remember one time when something was said. We were at dinner at your parents' house, and I can't even remember what it was. And I went like this, and I waited for you to look up at me, and I was like, and then for the rest, he was like, oh. And then afterwards, when we left, I was like, oh, I had completely forgotten about it until now. Yeah. And you were like,
sometimes like Mandy will look at me, and she's not mad at all, but it'll be kind of just a leveled look about something, and I'll be like, what did I say? Really, it's nothing, because Mandy does not.
No, and the reason is because I know you don't have any ill. You don't mean to say anything that's hurtful. You know what I mean? So that's a huge consideration when you decide how to.
I say to her all the time, if something like that happens, I never say anything for effect.
Right.
I never say anything to be hurtful, but dudes will sometimes just say stupid shit that comes to their mind, and that gets me in trouble sometimes, but it's genuinely not for conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, like, don't say anything that's going to hurt you, because we're kind of like, when I hurt you, it hurts me. It's like,
and I wasn't used to that. I used to could just hurl, like whatever, and there was no didn't go through. It didn't. It didn't It didn't. And with him, it's like I just can't stand hurting him like that. But in the beginning, we would have our moments when, but we were still like, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into
Karen was in it, talking to was communicating with Mandy one day at Texas, where I said something that was off-putting to Mandy. I got out of the car in 110-degree Texas heat and walked like 3 miles home.
I was like, you're such a dumbass.
And it was like, I didn't know Mandy quite as well, and that was the lesser of the evils to me. I was like, that gives you how my mind was, how it was hardwired.
It was freaking insane. I was like, you are going to freaking die. You can't walk home 3 miles in the middle of the Texas heat.
But I did. And she was waiting for me when I got there, and it was a fucked up decision.
Karen remembers.
I had shoes on with no socks, and I had blisters all over my feet. I was wearing like high tops, like Chucks, and I walked, and it was just brutal. It was about.
Have a good night, Donna.
It was.
Thank you.
It was. I think we had been there in Texas, and we had gone through the winter. I think it was like May or June of the next year. It was during COVID, wasn't it?
No, just before it, I think.
So then it was probably before it got real hot. It was probably September or October, but it was hot.
Karen remembers. So the one thing, I've seen everything you're saying. I love it. But the one that caught my eye was when Ricky Bobby said that his mother had a concealed carry permit, so he was scared of her.
God.
That, hold on. I think that's who said it. It was pretty funny. That was hilarious.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
Karen
catch up.
remembers. It was like, I was like, I don't even know which direction he's walked home. I got into the car after the nail salon. I don't think we've been dating for very long. And I texted him, because we'd had words before I went, and I came out and I got in the truck and I said, I'm finished. And he was like, not in the truck. And he said,
I left the keys in the truck
because
or
the
something
keys
like
are in
that.
the truck, and I'm like, where are you? And he was like walking, and I was like, he's walking home. And I was like, and then I was like, well, fuck, he's gonna die. So actually, the truth of the matter is, when he walked through the door, I was more grateful than anything else, because I was like, thank God he's home. And then you went to get water out of the sink, and I was like, are you gonna say anything? You're like, I can't. I need to get some water.
I need to get something to drink.
Anyway, it was adventurous. It was quite the day. It was a memorable evening as well. If I remember correctly, Sean, all was well after that.
It was well.
Yeah. Anyway, we love you guys.
It was well.
Right.
But if you didn't get a chance, if you didn't, like, if you could scroll all the way back, it's probably at the very beginning, or does, like, when the chat starts,
I'll
you
copy
know,
it.
you're gonna put it back in the chat again?
I'm gonna put it in the bottom. Here's Spirit Finder. I'm gonna give you a few views.
I think I have it still right here, if it's the same one. Hold on.
And it's not because I like you or even feel sorry for you. I just... So the cockatiels hold on to their perch and flap their wings.
They're pissed about something over there.
I
Y'all hear
know.
the cockatiels?
That's why I was like, they're gonna start screeching in a second. So there you go. If you're watching the replay, I'm interested in your thoughts. Void yourself of who it is and just listen to it.
Yep.
And tell us your opinion. It's really irrelevant, but just know that it was left for a female.
Yep.
And beyond that, thank you, Chicklets, and all of you, and Sin,
Chicklets and Sin and Presley and the chickens. Thank you. Our chickens don't speak English, or they would come in here. I would bring them in.
But you'll see on the video. I did it or whatever. I'm finishing editing it. Aubrey said, "What Lord would she do?" She actually didn't do anything this time. Not in this video. She's a dope, but like I said, she's a nasty person. Don't get me wrong.
So again, it's the Spirit Finder. We saw it. It's.
I'm just curious what people's thoughts are on it. If it's if anyone ever deserves a call like that, especially a female from a gentleman. I'm not being chauvinistic. I'm just genuinely curious.
I don't know, even in my most angry time, because this isn't like arguing with your partner.
This is
or
bone
just
chilling.
This is a voicemail that's left by a man for a woman that is just, I mean,
it's thank you, good news, thank you
so much.
I'm gonna be totally honest, it makes me concerned for Nancy that there's that side of him, and he can argue that all day long, but because
this YouTube stuff isn't that serious. I mean, we've showed that over the last couple of years when people will go real life, but
she's told him not to call her before. That call right there, if she's already told you not to, that's a problem.
Supposedly, he's in litigation with another YouTuber, and I know it's like we can't have it the way we all want it, and that, you know, but if someone was to slide that voicemail over to the person that is, I don't even know if the lawsuit is real or not. It's probably not. And say, look, this is this man, and this is what he says to women, or whatever it is. So if I call him, like right now, if I say that phone call and that message is creepy, and it's creepier because it's from a man to a woman. If it was a man to a man, it would just be weird. It would just be weird, you know, like, because
if someone left me a voicemail like that, some dude from YouTube, Sean, would be livid.
Yeah.
Or we would laugh and delete it. But
no, we would probably put it on blast, and I would put that on blast and be like, this is what this person has said. And the only reason I'm saying this on blast is because it's a YouTuber being that mad at another YouTuber.
And not just mad.
Yeah, but it's like it's what did that person do to you? Did they go real life? Or you're talking about,
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
You got to unplug. It's not that serious.
And you guys know that she freaking can't stand us, and we can't. I think she's done nasty thing to lots of people, but I don't think that's ever warranted.
That's why it's if it was just a
bass fishing tournament, Ricky Bobby. Sean's like, let's go ahead and change directions here. He looks. Sean's like,
So Karen, you need to let the hubs go to this tournament.
Sean's like, Ricky Bobby, I'll catch bigger fish than you've ever seen. Look, do you see what fishing does to him? Completely. Look at him.
Oh, I'm going to show this. Yeah.
You're so funny. He's like,
yeah, I mean, so I just posted it. Aubrey just went over and listened to it. It's why.
and he didn't even disguise his voice. Why is Kinetic told us every single way? This Kinetic is our internet, and it's due like at the
10th.
The 10th or something, and we pay it early. But for whatever reason, the day the bill comes out, they text, they email, they text again. I'm like, okay, we get it. The new bill's out. Anyway, go ahead.
But that's why in this community, and if you've been here and you listen, and yes, that guy has come for my service and perpetuated other things that didn't bother me. But it's like, hey.
But he also professes peace and love.
He'll come on and say, we need a peaceful community. We need a loving community. After one or two of those type of deliveries to other people, you look in the mirror. It's like, we need to do this in our community. No, you need to fix you.
You need to fix
you. You need to fix your issues and your problems.
And stop watching Spirit Finder if she pisses you off so much. Who cares if she lies that she worked for FEMA? You do too.
That's what he claimed.
You do too. So I don't.
That was specific. Like, you didn't work for FEMA. It's like, oh, fuck who you were. It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah, y'all both come up with shit you've never done. So it's y'all have a battle of the wills, and it's the most ridiculous, stupid shit I've ever seen.
The people that come for Mandy and I, when we know that they're gonna be nasty on stream or they're gonna go real life, we tune them out. We tune them out.
Why would you want to see anybody talk shit about you? The only people that watch that shit, we talk shit about people all the time, and they watch it and react. Don't watch it.
The only thing that we're not 100% sure of
is when it was.
Look
at the comment section.
Yeah.
But someone asked in the comment section, "Is this recent?" And she hearted it. I can only assume that means. And you're right.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, this has been so far May. We're through May. It's been the month of phone call recordings, right? So we've seen tragics to a non-emergency call to Neg's workplace, right? And now we see this from. I'm just telling you,
But I mean, at least that there's ramifications legally for making a call like that. They wasted the fire department's time. There are ramifications. This one right here is just flat out.
And Tammy is who she is. Spirit fights. It's not like she can run down
for
to her.
Years they've been fighting.
She's not like she can run down to the magistrate and them take her seriously. I mean, she's their one. She's just like Jacksonville, North Carolina's got their one that got their 2 or 3 crazies. Tam's that where she lives, but still, if someone had left certain people a voicemail like that, they would run straight down to the police, and the police would say whatever. But it's just you can't profess holding people accountable for certain behavior, which is another thing he does. We need to hold people accountable. When you have probably one of the top 5 vilest phone messages I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk to anybody else like that.
No, and to leave a voicemail, do it.
That's super stupid. It's like they didn't pick up their phone. So you wanted to get to them so badly that you just left a voicemail, and not just a, hey, fucko, why don't you pick up your phone? It's you're getting that upset at a female in our community. 2, you feel the need to contact them personally. That's real life. That's real life. That is the cyber law. It's like
he used to get just as mad at Mama Bear.
Yeah, and
it's that this
when
is
you
not
get that mad
female.
and you reach out. And number 2, you're so fucking stupid that you would leave your voice a permanent trail. It's all these cyber stuff and like cyber stalking and this and that, or stalking, because that's not even cyber. You just picked up a phone. The police will say, the magistrates will say, have you blocked them? Yes, that's the first one. If it's no, then they're like, block them. Number 2, have you personally, the first couple times they did, personally contacted them specifically and said, stop contacting me. When you leave a voicemail, that's pretty intimate.
They messaged for a very long time. Remember that?
Yeah, so the rumor is that, and I think I'm not going to say it's substantiated or not, but that Angelo and Tammy Spirit Finder went back and forth with text messaging, not always of a vile nature, but of a different nature.
Y'all don't throw up.
And then, I know, that in itself. But then things turned, and it really kind of looks like Angelo, based on that voicemail, felt a little more than just, he couldn't just ignore it. And it for a whole different reason than Tragic's phone call. It's just, there's a whole bag full of fucked up that it was.
And he loves that name whore.
Yeah,
Everyone's
he does.
a whore.
Yeah, everyone is. Well, you know,
Sean's a man whore, but he's my man.
I'd rather be a whore than a predatory stalker.
They're all like, what? Oh my God.
Yep.
Okay. We will talk to you guys later. It was fun. This was a good time. The members log will be out later, and we will catch you next time.